Right, so this is actually, I wouldn't even say an emergency video, but this video was uploaded by P's World about 4 hours ago, and anybody who knows his style, he has a whole bunch of videos in one, but this title is for one segment of his videos, okay, of the video. And I went through that part, and just looking at the whole thing, let's get into it. I'm only going to be doing this part, fair use and all that, but I think P's cool. I think he knows what the deal is. He better know what the deal is, considering all of his, like, seemingly 100% of his content is based off and using other people's shit. So he better know what the deal is. But just in case, fair use. Let's just get straight into this. And, you know, you see my comment here. I don't think it will be deleted, auto-deleted, but let's just get straight into it. Let's do that. And let's do this.
So I came across this, and I said, I beg your pardon? Excuse me? It says CDC, nearly 50% of black women ages 14 to 49 have genital herpes.
Okay, well, first of all, CDC, after what happened with COVID and their handling of COVID, to say the least, I do believe that the CDC has more or less, a lot more than less, lost most, if not all, their credibility. So there's that. But let's keep going.
My sweet Lord, what in the world? 50%? Listen, I am telling you now, and I'm going to be very honest about this. There are a lot of women out on social media saying that they're celibate who celibate. I'm going to say it again. There are a lot of women that you see on your timeline saying that they are celibate who celibate. Okay? They out there selling that boom boom. Because it ain't no way, if we got all of these movements, the bear is better, we don't like men, we don't trust men, 4B, 5B, 6C, USB-C. Ain't no way we in a situation where 50% from ages 14 to 49.
Keep that number, those ages in mind for later. And I just, and that this is what actually prompted this video, because when I saw those numbers, and I'm like, okay, and then I just went looking for something completely, well, related to this topic, but completely unrelated to the ages, and keep it in mind for later. And then the next thing, 50% of black women ages 14 to 49. Black women ages 14 to 49 where? On the planet? In the US? In the UK? I mean, it's a CDC, so you might think it's the US, but it's not specified. Well, it says African American. Okay. Well, what do you consider African American? Is it just black people in the US, or is it actually African American leaving out Caribbean black, Euro black that might be in the US for whatever reason, just straight Africans, no anything else? Or is African American just the catch-all term for all black people in the US? Okay, but we'll keep going.
Now, I want to say something. I want to be very clear about this. Everyone, when they get into a new relationship, need to get tested. Period. You get into a new relationship, you need to get tested. Because what you don't want to do is have a situation where you didn't get tested and something happens or comes up and you don't know who brought it into the relationship.
I don't believe this. I'm going to just start by saying that I don't believe this. 50% is too... That doesn't even make any sense. That's crazy, okay? I went and I looked it up, and it is saying nearly 50%.
Okay. STD prevention last week reported reported on by the Los Angeles. In addition, 1 out of 6 Americans in general is living with the virus. 1 out of 6 Americans in general. Okay. The genital herpes in the black community might be particularly responsible for the high. Might be, is it or isn't it? Might be doesn't mean anything. Herpes is quite common, blah, 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 right, and nowhere in here does it spell out black people specifically, but okay. You all can pause this and zoom in as much as you want.
I'm sorry. I just can't believe that. It was reported by the Los Angeles Times the high rates of genital herpes in
About 80% of people with the herpes virus are unaware that they have it. The herpes virus. The herpes virus. I wish people actually did some research on this herpes virus, on herpes itself, but I will talk about that in a moment.
black community might be partially responsible for the high incidence of HIV among African Americans, explained by Kevin Fenton, MD, Director of CDC's National Center for HIV/AIDS Viral.
Sounds to me, if he's the director or whatever, it sounds to me like it's in his best interest to make sure that he comes up with some stuff. I don't know, financial best interest or maybe social best power in the CDC realm. It seems to me like if he's the director or national whatever the hell, he can't really be coming up with nothing, or else that might be his job, his position, or whatever. But that's something else. I can't prove any of that. That's just my thoughts.
In addition, HIV positive people with HSV2 are more likely to transmit HIV to their partners, huh?
Yeah, HIV positive and HSV2, not one, but two. Okay. Keep those numbers and keep that number, HSV1, 2, and all that in mind for later as well. More likely, yeah, because they probably have a weak immune system. Yeah. They probably have a weak immune system. But let's keep going.
About 80% of people with the herpes virus are not aware. What?
80% of people. Black people or just people? Okay.
80%! Okay, wait, hold up. You guys let me know. Actually, I can just do a quick Google. You know there's herpes, and then there's the other herpes, like a cold sore. A cold sore is herpes, right? Is that what they're talking about?
See, even you kind of like, I mean, cold sore. Okay, but stay with me here.
Let me Google it. Oh no. What type of herpes is genital herpes? RIP my Google search history. Genital herpes. Oh no. So I'm generally stunned. I don't know what to say. I still don't believe it though. I think 50% is too high, man.
This is just me nerding out here, but who the hell still worries about their search history, man? You people still have their computer. Okay, well, I'm a computer nerd, so, but I can't believe people are still worried about their search history, man. That stuff should be not. Well, when you're concerned about privacy like I am, that's the.
That must be a guesstimation or something. Oh my goodness, there's a video from the Associated Press 14 years ago.
Yeah, about this video. Pay special attention to this video.
Saying 50% of black women affected with herpes 14 years.
My first reaction.
So this video is from 14 years ago saying 50%, and then the original dude that this P's World was reacting to, what, did he just find an article that also says 50% recently? Like, which means that the numbers haven't changed. Doesn't sound suspicious. That doesn't seem suspicious. Okay, I can't do Umar. Only Umar can do Umar.
It's pretty devastating. The doctor was really nice. I pretty much cried in the office for about an hour or so.
About 6 months ago, the doctor told this 27-year-old woman she has genital herpes. She's not alone. About half of African American women have the sexually transmitted disease. There is medication to suppress flare-ups of herpes, but no cure. She
Tell that to... well, no.
wants to remain anonymous because she worries her health, sexuality, and her chance for love are irreparably damaged.
It's something that would happen maybe a couple of times a year, yes, but I mean, with just the slightest touch, I can always give it to somebody else. It increased.
With just the slightest touch. And then there's this thing here. This, okay.
Is your risk of acquiring HIV by 2 to 3 fold. So we're worried about it because if you actually acquire the HSV2 virus, then you are more susceptible or more likely then to acquire the HIV virus.
Dr. LaShawn Taylor led a recent CDC study indicating that 1 in 6 Americans between the ages of 14 and 49 are infected with herpes.
You hear that? And that right there is what, that bit of wording that I caught. I don't know if Pete caught it, didn't seem like he caught it or anybody else, but I caught that. 1 in 6. In fact, we'll go back again.
Recent CDC study indicating that 1 in 6 Americans between the ages of 14 and 49 are infected with herpes.
1 in 6 Americans. It doesn't say black women. It doesn't say black people. It doesn't say the black diaspora all over planet Earth. It says 1 in 6 Americans. Okay? And we're talking about USA. We're not talking about North Americans, South Americans. I'm assuming they're localizing it to the USA and Canada, Hawaii, and mixed in there. 1 in 6 Americans. But I thought this was about black women. And they're 50%, 1 in 2. But yet, 1 in 6. Americans.
The symptoms could be redness in the genital area, blisters, pain, or just soreness. Still, many people don't show any signs of this lifelong and incurable infection. That creates dangerous consequences for African American women.
Why is it going back to African American women if it's people? If it's people. And it just said, what, 80% of people have the virus and don't know? So 1 in 6 and then 80%. See that? Why would this create a problem for African American women as opposed to anybody else if it's 80% according to one number and then 1 in 6 according to another number? 16.6667. So about 16-ish%, 1 in 6, but then 80% by what number you just heard, and a number we're going to hear again. Okay. But this spells problems for African American women. It'd be one thing if it said women as a whole, considering the vast majority of women are fucking a minority of dudes. Okay. But hopefully you all are catching this.
Experts say the stigma associated with having an STD hinders efforts to combat the infection.
Having an STD, yes, if you have chlamydia, gonorrhea, trich, whatever that is, an STD, are we talking about herpes specifically, genital herpes among black women, or are we talking about an STD. This is the kind of stuff that I do not like, and I've been noticing it, and have noticed it quite a lot with a lot of things in different areas. Statistics this, rape statistics that, STD statistics this. They keep on switching things from, oh, well, people as a whole, to black women specifically, to the population, to Americans, to... We weren't talking about Americans. We weren't talking about women. We're talking about black women specifically, is how this thing started off. Of black women have genital herpes. So how the hell do you switch to all these different things?
It's psychological and social. Some, as I said, make the moral decision to not disclose, and others decide the best thing to do is to be honest, and they do, and they take their chances.
The CDC has an ongoing effort to increase awareness and lower the genital herpes infection rate. Still, this young woman wants the movement to work harder. Lila Ibrahim, The Associated Press.
At all. I'm very afraid to...
Nobody will ever shame me into thinking body count doesn't matter. Nobody will ever shame me into thinking a woman's past doesn't matter. Never in this life. Never. 50%? That's half the population. That doesn't make sense. I still don't believe. I'm still having a hard time processing this.
You're good to do that because it literally does not make any sense. It literally does not. And considering the vast majority of black women are with of black people are with black people, despite however much interracial whatever, okay. So why is not roughly the same? Generally, for the vast majority, people get with their own peoples. White get with white. Asian get with Asian. There's interracial, fine, but by and large, it's not. So if that's the case, why then are we not seeing the numbers roughly the same amongst black men? Yeah, okay. Most women go with few guys, fine. Okay. Yes, it does not make any sense, P. And you would be right to be very suspicious of that. This is the problem that people run into, whether they realize it or not, with trusting quote unquote experts and authorities. Authority according to who? Nature? God? No, because some other person says that they are because they passed some sort of test or some gauntlet of tests and got some shiny piece of paper and some accolades and credentials. Therefore, they are now an authority on the matter. They have no idea what the fuck they're talking about or doing. I believe it was one of the teachings in one of the laws of the 48 Laws of Power. Trust less in other people's understanding and more in your own. Of course, it doesn't mean that you reject absolutely everything of other people, fine, but there comes a point where you have to stop listening to other people, because when it comes down to it, they could have a financial interest in staying relevant and staying... They could have a financial interest, a power interest, something in staying relevant and of consequence, real or supposed. So be very careful with that in trusting these experts. There's nothing worse than you are some supposed expert and you spend your entire life working on something just to come to a dead end. That's probably going to leave a bit of hellfire and brimstone in your mouth. You take umbrage to that shit.
Too high. It's too high. It's too high. 50%? Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Did you guys know this?
Yeah, about that. Now is where is this? So that was one. Now, me knowing something about this whole herpes virus thing, I actually went to look at this, the cellular difference between HSV1 and 2. I wanted to know what the cellular difference is, because when I talk to doctors, okay, my doctor as well as other doctors at clinics, whenever I go and get checked up, I ask them questions about this stuff, and I'll share some of that with you in a little bit, but I'm like, okay, well, based on what they've told me so far, what is just the cellular difference of that thing? And I clicked on this very first one, and that brought me here. Okay, so we have this right here, right here, right here, but you know what, should I read this? Or you all can read this on your own time if you're really that interested. You know what? Let's go. What are the differences? Okay, I couldn't find the cellular difference, but I found this. Herpes. No, I'm not going to read all of this. But there is something rather important here. The majority of HSV are asymptomatic, meaning little or no symptom, and may never show symptoms. People may differ where they... Okay. People who are symptomatic with symptoms, HSV 1 and 2, mainly differ by where the episode called outbreaks occurs. That is the main thing. From what one of the doctors that I talked to, or texts or whatever they were, these two, 1 and 2, apparently are the same virus. And from what one and this time this was the, what was she? She was the urologist. From what she told me, these two things are more or less indistinguishable. The only, hey, if you have it in your genitals, they call it this. If you have it more or less anywhere else, they call it this. They're apparently the same virus. Whoops, goddamn. Okay. It's just where it happens. Okay. In most cases, HSV1 is passed through mouth-to-mouth contact, causing oral herpes. Okay, also known as herpes labialis. While HSV2 is almost exclusively passed through sexual contact, causing genital herpes or herpes genitalis. Okay. Beyond the location of the outbreak, the symptoms of HSV 1 and 2 are largely indistinguishable, just as she was telling me. Okay, and eruption healing. Is it 1 or 2? While it may seem reasonable to assume that a cold sore is caused by HSV 1 and a genital herpes caused by HSV 2, a 2015 study, watch this, in PLOS 1 suggests that more than a half of all new genital herpes cases in people 14 to 49. Where did you hear that number before? In people 14 to 49. So it's people. In fact, let's go back. Let us go back. 14 to 49. Where did we see this? I told you to keep this in mind for later.
Now, I want to say something. I want to be very clear about this. Everyone that's selling that boom boom out on social media, a black woman.
Almost 1 in every 2 African American women ages 14 to 49. And by the way, open access, peer-reviewed, research article, blah, 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 blah. No, actually, hold on. Where was it? That wasn't even that one. 14 to 49. And as soon as I saw that number, and hey, yo, all of this was done in a matter of, I guess, maybe 30-ish minutes now. This was not me doing research upon research and going to articles and stuff like that. This was me, literally. I saw this video, this segment here. I went and looked for the cellular difference between the two, since they're also indistinguishable apart from the location. Came across this, and I happened to see this number. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? 14 to 49. Huh? Okay. And that, clicked on that, led to this, open access, peer-reviewed article, blah, 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 blah. And it went through all of this stuff, none of which demonizes black women the way that this thing, CDC, did. Here it says, PLOS, so just one or more than half of all new genital herpes cases in people 14 to 49. People, where does it say black women? It doesn't even say black people. It just says people. It doesn't say black women. 14 to 49. Black women, 14 to 49. Yes, P, you are quite correct in not believing this foolishness. The CDC has now officially, as of what? Wednesday, August 21st, 2024 at 11:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they have 100% lost all credibility with me. Okay? 100%. If you cite CDC as a source, I immediately reject whatever you have to say. NIH hasn't lost it yet. Okay? But the CDC long since has. In the end, you cannot differentiate HSV1 from HSV2 by either the appearance or location of the outbreak. This can only be done with diagnostic testing. So there's that, which I guess tells me that there is some sort of cellular difference, which is what I was originally looking for, but didn't find. One key difference between HSV1 is the risk of reoccurrence. All herpes virus tend to repeat after initial outbreak, often within the first year. But with a genital herpes outbreak, HSV1 is 80% less likely to reoccur within a year. In some cases, you would only have one outbreak with no reoccurrence. In contrast, reoccurrence is common with HSV2. If left untreated, some people may experience recurrent outbreaks anywhere from 1 to 12 times per year. Moreover, the reoccurrence episode tends to be far more severe than with HSV1 and can persist for many years. Okay. This is one of the things that I said I was gonna, having known about herpes viruses. I'm going to tell you about it. Causes: HSV1 and HSV2 belong to a family of viruses called herpes viridae. Herpes viridae, which also includes the zoster virus causing chickenpox and shingles. There are, if I'm not mistaken, like 7, 8, or perhaps 9 different versions of herpes. Okay? And as you just saw here, causing chickenpox. I have had chickenpox. I had chickenpox sometime in elementary school, early elementary school. It knocked out, it was at Wayside Elementary in Potomac, Maryland. It wiped out, like, I forgot which grade I was in. Maybe 2nd grade or 3rd grade. But it wiped us all the fuck out. Okay? 2 weeks. Freaking Dave Chappelle. Fucking hell. I was as close to a crack addict as I came, man. Just fuck me. Okay. There are, in fact, let's just do it right now. Let us do it right now. New container. How many different versions of herp? How many forms of herpes are there? If I'm not mistaken, there are like, what, 7 or 8. or perhaps 9. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? HSV1 versus HSV2. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, Wikipedia. Wikipedia's going to have it. Wikipedia. Let's see. Oral herpes cycle, herpes. The most affected etymology, signs and symptoms, types. Here we go. Okay, so we got herpes. Okay. So we got this. This is HSV1. This is HSV2. We got this one. Rare life-threatening conditions cause either the nasal cavity of the brain, other herpes, Bell's palsy, Alzheimer's. Anyway, you all can go look this up. But the point is, there are a bunch of different forms of herpes. And as far as cure, there supposedly is no cure. So saith the experts. Well, you know what? Go tell that to Dr. Sabi. Go tell that to like a bunch of different herbalists. They say otherwise. And they use nature to do it. So, yeah. And considering most, if not all, or most drugs that you experts rely on comes from plants or derived in some form or fashion from plants. Yeah. I dare say who was it? The Rockefellers or was it the Rothschilds? One of them. They should have probably backed homeopathic medicine instead of the allopathic medicine. Way back when they decided to pick one over the other. Anyway, well, I know why they did that, because they can make money off what we have now, calling it medicine. Can't really make money off what the herbalists use. But anyway. No, it is not black women. Okay, in fact, that's how common. How common is HSV1 and 2? More than half of all, I didn't even see this part. I didn't get here yet. More than half of all adults in the United States have HSV1. Is that where they got the 50%? Nearly 50% of black women ages 14 to 49. So, okay, here's where the 50% comes in. More than half of all adults. So, in the United States, so this is race irrespective. Okay. And they got the 14 to 49. Where the hell? Somewhere up here. You saw it. You saw it. Okay. Have HSV1, while nearly 1 in 7. Okay, so 1 in 6 was what it was around here somewhere. 1 in 6, is it?
Infected with herpes. The symptoms could be redness in the genital 14 and 40, indicating that 1 in 6 Americans between the ages of 14 and 49 are infected with herpes.
Okay. 1 in 7 sexually active adults have HSV2. The prevalence of both increase with age. Okay, well, with age, you get more partners. Studies suggest that around 27% of teens in the United States have HSV1, increasing to nearly 60 by 40 to 49. In contrast, less than 1% of teens have HSV2, rises to just over 21% by 40 to 49. And where is this coming from? Prevalence of herpes in persons aged 14 to 49. In fact, let's go to this. Maybe this will show, black women. Okay, non-Hispanic black. Okay, let's see. 2015, during 2015 to 2016. Prevalence of HSV-1 was during 2015-2016 was highest among Mexican American persons and lowest amongst non-Hispanic white persons. Okay, well there you go. We had some non-Hispanic black, Mexican, non-Hispanic Asian, male, female, male, okay. And of course, non-Hispanic black, but this 58.8 is saying black. It's not saying black women, see, Department of Health. Okay, CDC. Okay, well, I guess this is null and void then. NCA data brief based on CDC. Oh, here we go to 14 to 49. Innovation was 40. The prevalence of HSV-1 amongst persons aged 14 to 40 was 47, but among persons, 48 point when adjusted for age. Mexican American persons, and you all can go deal with this, all right? You all can go deal with this. Put simply, no. 50% or more of black women do not have herpes. I don't know if this was, I don't know what this was. I don't know what the hell this was. But here it is. As far as I can tell, I just dismantled it with what probably amounts to maybe 30 minutes of quote unquote of the most bullshit trip, slipped and fell into it research. Looking for something completely, I just wanted to know what the cellular structure of this shit was. And I ended up finding that they lied. Just, you know, there's a lot of things that can be said for black women, just like there's a lot of things that can be said for all peoples if the other side was truthful and honest. There's a lot that can be said about black women if black men were able to just unload. There's a lot of things black women can say about black men if they've been allowed to unload. And the same thing applies for every other group. If white women are oh so great, why the hell are so many white men going off to non-white women, specifically Asian? Okay. Okay. That's just one example. Again, just recently I saw some Hispanic dude just lean into Hispanic women. And it's Tay-Tay went and made a video about it. You let one camp lean into the other half of their team and they will have a lot to say. Something tells me that Asian men have something to say about Asian women, as do Asian women have something to say about Asian men. Same thing with Middle Easterns. However, as always, and as has been said so many times before, it seems to me that black people, be they black men in certain cases, or in this case black women, seems to be the target of various entities that apparently don't seem to target other groups of people anywhere near as much, if at all. But hey. I did not intend to do this, but I saw this. I'm in the middle of editing a completely different video. I have my movie maker on. This is the video that I'm editing right now, working on. Response to Sewer Bum on some viral video where he asked black men, what do black women have to clap back at other people with? That'll be up soon. But I saw this and I'm like, yeah, nah. Nah. In closing, I will say this. Trust less in other people and more in yourself. You can have as many experts and credentialed with the peer review and the whatever. Trust less in other people and more in yourself. That's it. And we're done.